Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Chic Chat Pod. I am not your usual host. Your host is out of town today. So I am taking over. Last week we discussed Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So this week we are discussing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Today I will be joined by my mom's co-host, Miss Tequila. And then we are also going to bring on Mr. Juan Lee in a couple of minutes. But first, we are going to get everybody checked in. And we are just going to give you guys some insights of what we're going to be talking about today. So, first of all, how are you doing, Miss Tequila?
I am doing well. Hi, Chick Chat, ladies, gentlemen. How are you doing today? Hoping all is well. Jada, what about you? How's it going?
I am well.
That's good.
Busy weekend. Everybody's busy. A lot of homecomings. I hope everybody is staying safe.
That's right.
A lot going on.
That's
But
right.
yeah, I like your glasses. It's getting very sophisticated.
Thank you, Jada. So
So
we're gonna be
um
tackling the issue of domestic violence. So
yes. So today's episode is very important. We're diving into the journey of love after domestic violence. So just learning how to heal, how to trust again, and how to reclaim your identity, your boundaries, your worth. Um, so the theme for Domestic Violence Awareness Month this year is with survivors always. And so it's reminding us that survivors are at the heart of healing, thriving in new chapters, and that our efforts must be with survivors, not just for or about
awesome.
them. Hmm.
Awesome, Jada. So domestic violence, it isn't rare. It's actually way more common than most people even realize. Just to give you a few statistics about domestic violence, it's over 10 million people experience some form of domestic violence, or another common term that's often referred that we often hear instead of domestic violence is intimate partner, abuse. And so, that's about 20 to 30 people every 20 minutes being hurt, threatened, or controlled by someone who says that they love them. Are you surprised to hear those numbers, Jada?
Um, am I surprised? I feel like the numbers go up every year. Like and honestly, I feel like it's one of those things to where the world is changing in so many different ways and a lot of things are being accepted and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things are not being looked at um as domestic violence can come in any form.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people accept certain things and they don't realize what they're going through until it actually gets worse. So
Yeah.
those numbers go up every single year.
Mm-hmm.
But um, again, today we are going to be joined by Mr. Juan Lee, our love doctor.
Right.
Um, and just a disclaimer, he is going to bring insight into how we can rebuild relationships, recognize red flags, and cultivate healthy, resilient love after trauma. He's giving us perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether you're a survivor yourself or supporting someone who is, um, this conversation is for you. So, we're about to bring up Mr. One.
All right. Welcome, Mr. One, today.
Well, hello, ladies. How are you today?
Hi, Mr.
Good.
One.
How are you?
How are you?
Oh, doing great, doing great. Glad. Thanks for having me again.
Yes.
Of course, it's always a treat when you're coming.
A little male perspective here. I get it.
Yes.
I get it. This is a very interesting topic though because it's amazing how it's associated with love. And
Mm-hmm.
that's I think probably the first misconception or difficulty that we deal with is in putting it in the magnitude of being a part of love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, I think, at the heart of being able to navigate this space is because it's associated with something that we perceive as love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opening statement there. So we can go from there, or we can
Also,
or I can continue, but we can start there.
also another disclaimer is that it doesn't just happen with women. Domestic violence also happen with men as well. I know that sometimes we look at it as, women are going through it mainly, even though the statistics are kind of there. But um, again, like I said, the world is changing so fast nowadays to where it's kind of equal with both genders. So, like I said, this conversation is not just for women, it's for the men too. So, we're about to get perspective from Mr. Juan Lee.
Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think, and in addition, it's physically, mentally, and emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just necessarily physical,
Exactly.
and it's not just emotional, but it can be, like I said, it can be emotional violence, and these are the things that we all have to recognize. And when we associate it with love, that begins to make it that much more difficult in trying to navigate that space, because love shouldn't have anything to do with harming another person.
Correct.
And when we're finding ourselves being harmed, we have to automatically disassociate it from love, because, and I think that's a problem that we have going through this process, is that we're torn between the fact as to feelings and emotions based on um, how I'm being treated, how I'm being um, dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
or for lack of a better word. And so when we put love in front of it, it's very difficult to navigate that space. So the first thing in this process of being able to, in my opinion, of reestablishing love, and when I say love, it's that ability that's contrary to what I'm referring to right now,
Okay.
because you've got to identify what love is not before you can really find out what love is. And in many cases, you've got to deprogram yourself from understanding that the thing about relationships is that they're chosen. You choose them. You enter into them as your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do that, um, what becomes of it when you associate love to it makes it that much more difficult to be able to recognize that you're being violated as a result of it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you see that it's something, if you're being violated, it's, you really have to automatically say, okay, this is not what I'm looking for.
Right.
You've got to be able to recognize that that's not what it is that I'm looking for. And at that point, it's like, hey, I know that this is not what I'm in for. And the first thing that you have to do there is to rebuild your self-esteem. You really have to rebuild your self-esteem at that point, because it's an indicator that your self-esteem has been damaged for you to have gotten to the point where you entered into some kind of relationship
Mm-hmm.
that now has a negative impact on you, and that you chose it.
Yeah. And then it's kind of switched around to where you feel like it's your fault because you accepted certain things, and then you wonder, what did I do wrong for it to go that way? And that's where your self-esteem comes in, because any type of abuse shouldn't be triggered by what you I guess, do in a sense? Or,
Well, I mean, again, like I'm saying, if we actually, if we can understand, if we can separate the violence and the violence from love,
mm-hmm,
it makes it that much easier to recognize it when it's happening.
yeah.
It's when we associate it with love makes it a really difficult to be able to recognize it. And then when you recognize it, and we're in the we're talking about now, how do you come back? How do you rebound from recognizing the fact is, and then I'm still saying to you, the first thing you have to do to rebound is to recognize that violence was not love. That was not love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's very difficult for people to accept, that because that was their choice. They entered into this relationship. And then, like you said, we've got to realize that now I am, I have to work on me, self-acceptance. I have to work on me and my ability to be able to find value in who I am again, because at this point, it's been taken, it's been
Mm-hmm.
removed. I've been violated to a point where I can't, um, it goes beyond just the incident or the incidents. It goes to the point now it's a mental thing. It's how I've allowed this to happen, and I put myself in this situation. So you really have to you have to build up your self-esteem. You really got to build yourself up to realize that, hey, you're valuable, you're important, you're necessary. What you are and who you are is important, and that I'm grown out of this into a point where now I can recognize what love really looks like. And that's what it's really about when you get to this point, is recognizing that what I'm looking for next time. What am I looking for? How do I determine? How do I recognize um, what love looks like, and how I can then engage it where I don't have to experience this type of violence or
Okay.
any type of emotional or physical violence?
That actually goes into our first question. How do you define healthy love after someone has experienced abuse? Like, what are the key markers or behaviors to look out for?
Hmm. One of the definitions, and here's the primary thing, especially with love. And my definition is, and this is where we really have to understand what love is. Love is someone or some is the ability to act on behalf of another. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you're engaged in a relationship, you're looking for someone who has your best interest in mind. And in many cases, above themselves. Now you have to be careful with that, because the fact is that you have to be able to see that for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say beyond for themselves or beyond above themselves, it's to the point where their desire is to please you or to give you what it is that it has your best interest in mind. It's like an example, just a small example. I heard one person talk about when they were dating, they were saying when they go to the restaurant and the last appetizers on the tray, and do they grab the last appetizer, not even referring, you know, do you want it? Or would you like to have it? Just that ability to understand just those simple things, small things, as to, does this person consider you,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
in a very simple way. And it grows from there, though, because you have to recognize the thing. We talk about things where men know now that, they're going to open the door for you, they're going to pull your chair out for you, they're going to do those little things. But it's the things that you don't suspect that they're going to look out, and they're going to say, when it's like things that you have to do, and it's like, okay, what can I do to help you navigate that space that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the circumstances are. That's how you recognize it. It's in the little things. It's not really what they say, it's what they do.
Would you consider like the response to things? Because like you just said, somebody could, um, open the door for you, pull out the chair for you, like do the simple things that they know that they're supposed to do, but their response to certain things are different.
Absolutely. I mean, but this is what I'm saying. You have to recognize that the people that are authentically themselves are people that are connect to you very easily. And when they don't connect with you easily, then they're not authentic. Things aren't easily fit. You shouldn't be trying to make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't fit, like the old OJ Simpson thing, it must not be meant for you. But be aware of what you're looking for and understand. Remember, love is when they're acting on behalf of you,
Yeah.
not themselves. See, love is not selfish. And that's how you demonstrate it, by acting on behalf of another. Even when you could act for yourself, you could protect yourself in the sense, not protect, that's not a good word. It's when you can see the person's need, and respond accordingly without necessarily them even asking
Yeah,
you
that makes sense.
to see your need. So it's very, I mean, if you know how to see them, that really allows them to make sure that you can see then that they're really not looking to manipulate something about you, but they're really looking to know you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're looking for, someone to know you. Here's the thing, you've got to know yourself first, though. You got to know yourself first, because you can't expect them to try to get to know you if you don't know yourself.
And have boundaries within yourself.
Oh, knowing yourself comes with those boundaries. Those are a lot of the tools that you would have been put in place to protect your authenticity, to protect your identity as it relates to who you are. If you don't have boundaries, that means that they'll take you anywhere. They'll drag you anywhere, because you'll be led by what they're saying rather than how their actions are presenting themselves to you. And when they don't measure up, when their words and their actions aren't consistent, those aren't red flags. Those are blaring flags. Those are like bombs being dropped at you.
SOS.
Yeah. Those aren't those flags. Those are major bombs being dropped, and many times we don't look at them and see.
That's interesting. I was just thinking about, you mentioned, when it's really love, you should be, looking for and expecting someone who, it sounds like you're saying someone who's like kind of, intuitively responding to your needs, like they're recognizing them, without you even being aware of them. So it's kind of like what from in the comments, Shadana says, action speaks louder than words. And so, they're showing you and demonstrating, out, from their perception of what you need in your life. They're actually acting on that without you even, having to ask for it. That's interesting. I find that interesting. I think that's very valid and true.
And here's the thing about it. You recognize this when they add value to you. See, when they're able to instill something into you that you didn't even know you needed.
Right. That's right.
That's added value.
Mr. Juan, so do you find though, or do you think that someone who's, experienced domestic violence would be able to identify and even recognize, when that true love, that real love, that love is present, in the midst of their history of trauma? Do you find that it would be, even something, that's possible for them to do, is recognize love?
That's the next question. So
but good, because here's the thing. I don't want to make light of domestic violence, but it's trauma, okay? And to a certain degree, all of us are running around with some trauma that we're having to navigate.
That's right.
And in the process of navigating this trauma, we've got to understand until we identify what love really looks like, it's going to require us to do some deprogramming. We're going to have to deprogram something, get some things corrected. And that means we're going to do some deep diving into knowing who we are so that we can. And that's where it's critical. Until we do this work, we put ourselves at risk of repeating what we've been into. And so this is where I say to you, if there's any question or any doubt as it relates to what it needs, what those areas of your life that need to be deprogrammed, don't avoid it, embrace it. Go do the work so that you might be able to come on the other side of it and enter back into this space very well prepared to be able to do exactly what that question is, and that is to identify what real love looks like. Back into this space, you know. So it's really important. Oh, somebody had a question if they're talking about bombing them. I think you heard that before.
That's right. Shadana from the comments, true love versus love bombing, you know, recognition is, she's kind of piggybacking on what you're saying. You know, that's important.
Well, and that's how you can recognize it, because they're going to be just love bombing you. It's an external thing, and this is very interesting, because one of our earlier shows with you early on, we had the same question talked about it. And love bombing was something I was like, whoa, people do stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, they would tell me, say, yeah. But the fact is that is so superficial. It's so superficial. And you've got to be able to recognize that. See, because if I can do it, when I said add value, that's a key component to being able to determine this love that I'm referring to. Because if I can do it for myself, you ain't giving me nothing that I ain't doing for myself. If you want to really be true about it.
I know that's right.
You want to be true about it. A trip to the coast or the beach or down to it ain't going, at the end of the day, if I really needed to or had to, I could do it myself. I'm talking about adding to me something that I can't do for myself. Because here's the thing. I have to be able to be willing to bring that same type of value to the other person too.
Yeah.
See, it's not just a one-way street. If you can't find or add value to him or them, I'm not going to say what add value to the other person.
And that requires, like you mentioned earlier, that requires you to know the person, to pay attention to the person's needs, and for you to be able to identify them so that you know how you can add value to someone's life. Yeah.
And here's the point. In doing so, it's going to require something of them. And I don't mean monetarily. It's going to require something of them internally. They're going to have to, you're not going to be able to do that by just, looking and seeing. You're really going to have to be in tune. And that's what we got to be looking for. We have to be able to look to be in tune. So to answer the question, though, you've got to be able to do the inside work so that you can. We all have to get to understand what this love is, because this love changes your perspective. It allows you to see things in a different way, so that people that typically look one way, you begin to see them in a different way. So as to know, you've heard the old adage, the sheep in wolves clothing. This love identifies the sheep in wolves clothing. And that's what we're after here, is to be able to identify those things that are right for us. We have to be able to identify that. Just not allow just anything to come our way and think that that's right for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, just anything ain't right for me.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's
But
right.
you got to know that though. You got
Yeah.
to know. Here's the thing: you got to know what's not right for you,
Mm-hmm.
as well as what is right for you. You got to know that that's not right for me. That's not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
It might look good, might smell good. It might even have six figures in it. That might not be. That's not for me.
That's right.
That's right, Mr. Wong.
Okay, so from a partner's perspective, if someone is entering a relationship with a survivor of domestic violence, what should they know or do to be supportive without being or feeling like a rescuer?
Mm.
That that answer, and I don't mean to poke myself at it, but that answer. Are you saying how does that how do you get to that point is where I need to find out. How do you get to that point? From you saying your partner perspective, if someone is entering into a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
that is the key component to this question.
So maybe so from my perspective of this question is like somebody who is dating somebody who is a survivor and they've expressed the survivor has expressed many I wouldn't even say trauma dumping, but um I guess many different situations of what they've been through. And the person wants to be there for them and be supportive, but they don't want to feel like that's what they're here for. They want to be a partner, not just be somebody who, I guess, rescued them.
You want the answer, or you just want the answer to feel good? Because
Yeah, I want to hear that.
that's what I said. Entering into a relationship, it's not good for either party to be entering into a relationship if that trauma has
Mm-hmm.
not been dealt with,
Yeah.
because there are going to be triggers that are going to be unfortunate things that the partners are going to be concerned or going to be confronted with, and they're going to come from places that they have no idea where they came from. Even though the person is saying, I've acknowledged the fact that I am coming from a dimension, though these things need to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
And
Wong.
your partner is not the one that you want to use to
Mm.
address these with.
Okay.
That's unfair to both parties.
I can
Mm-hmm.
see that. I can definitely see that from that perspective. In terms of the domestic violence survivor using, the person, but from the perspective of the partner who is meeting this domestic, violence survivor slash someone that they care about slash love, is it not possible for love to still be able to show up that way? Can love not show up for someone who is a domestic violence survivor? Would it not be love when you're trying to enter that relationship and embrace them, you know what I mean, wholeheartedly, in an attempt to not so much rescue them, but to seek to meet their needs and to, help them, even if it means helping them overcome and learn to cope with that trauma? Is that not them trying to love that person?
Wait, can I piggyback before you answer?
Yes,
Mhm.
please.
Um, so like more of the person is doing everything they can do to be healed, right? Or
Mhm.
they are healing. But like you said, we're all carrying trauma, some type of trauma. And it may not be as big as it was before, but certain things I mean, certain traumas are, a little bit deeper than, other people's trauma. So like a survivor of domestic violence, what if that trauma is like never like stapled, sewn up anymore, but they still want to give love a chance, and like they're in therapy, they're
Again,
using their resources.
that's why I said entering into. It's
Mhm.
it's one thing when you say you're in one and you've been in the relationship and you have come to realize that this is what's holding us back. Okay, this is what's holding us back. But when you're walking to someone and they lead with trauma,
Mm-hmm.
you come into a relationship and they lead with trauma, it's an indicator that there's some work that needs to be done. And either case, you don't want to, because remember you're talking about value. Both of you is to add value to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're working on you, we spend the relationship working on you, eventually there's some resentment going to come eventually, because we've been working on you, we've been working. And what about me?
But is that to say that, just because we're working on you where you're weak, you're not offering that weak person in that regard is not offering love and offering their strength in areas where that partner may be weak?
Absolutely. And this is what I'm saying. Every person is going to have to make that personal decision for themselves. All I'm saying is that realizing that there is work that needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
each and every one of us are going to have to determine, is the relationship worth the work? All I'm saying to you is that what the work is, that if it has not been discovered, if it hasn't been discovered, that's why I'm saying, if there's this kind of work that needs to be done, get the help. Go get the help.
Yeah.
Do the work that's necessary so that you can be your best showing up in that next relationship. You don't want to bring the past experience. That's why it's about, the first thing to do is rebuild yourself, loving yourself. You when you show up, you should show up as a victor, not a victim. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's the way you should be wanting to show up. And
Approach.
so that means that, again, I'm bringing value to this. And it's okay to say, okay, I want to help, I can do what I want to do. But again, based on what the purpose of this relationship is. And I think many times we enter into relationships not knowing what the purpose of it is. We don't have a common purpose for the relationship. And as a result, you're thinking one thing and I'm thinking another. If you're thinking I'm your therapist and I'm thinking that you might help me, that's different.
Okay.
Let's touch on some of the comments when we right quick. Brina says that character compatibility is important. It takes time to get to know someone. Don't ignore the red flags. Darisha says nobody is perfect. You can't fix them and they can't fix you. Only God can do that. But even though you had trauma, you still have the right to genuine love. That's why you have to wait on God. He will send the right one that will be patient if you have experienced domestic violence.
I think all of that is true. That's good. Okay. Because again, that's exactly, I think they see the fact that, relationships are really based on your ability to communicate.
Yeah.
And what you're going to be communicating is based on what the purpose of the relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
What the purpose of the relationship is. And if that's what you're having to, that's what your conversation is about. It's nothing wrong with it. Again, there's a place for it, but that's why I'm saying, I think if we allow the work to be done first, let's let's try to be our best presenting ourselves in those situations, because relationships aren't easy, any of them. Okay. And so we want to give the relationship based on what we want it to be, what the purpose of it is. We got to be authentically understanding, okay, what's your purpose here? Because if we're going to spend the conversation based around trauma,
sounds like a job.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not anything wrong with that, but is that what you want your relationship to be?
Yeah. Like, do you want to enter into something, into a love affair with the intentions of getting your trauma needs met? Like, no, you're saying that we need to be more intentional when we enter into these relationships, and we need to be intentional that our intentions need to be an asset to someone, and for someone to be an asset to us. I think is what you're saying. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That's what this love is all about. Its ability to be able to recognize and provide value to someone, and it's to be reciprocated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when we look at it that way, this trauma or this is domestic violence, it really cuts at the very core of what a relationship is meant to be, because it violates it. It violates it. And that's why I'm saying, if you don't understand what love really looks like, you've never seen it before, and then you associate it with violence, that in and of itself creates a dynamic that is worth working on to correct, to move forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, our next question, where do forgiveness and accountability fit in, both for survivor and any ongoing trauma from the abuser or relationship?
You know, forgiveness is first and foremost in the process of you building your self-esteem again. You've got to forgive yourself. You've got to be able to put this thing behind you. This situation has come and it has passed. It has come to pass. So forgiveness, self-forgiveness is essential to build your emotional stability moving forward. Because without that, you're always thinking that it was my fault. It was what did I do? I should have done something. No, this thing has come, and now we have to allow it to pass. And the only way that we can do that is to forgive ourselves and let it go. It's not about blame. It ain't about holding on. It's about the ability, as it says, to move on. It's essential. From the abuser or the relationship. Yeah. Because again, that's in any type of disagreement or any type of breakage or conflict. We've got to be able to put it behind us and not hold anything. Because again, forgiveness is for me. For me to forgive you, it's for me to move on. I can't hold that moment in my present if I expect to move on into the future, because it's going to steal my future as it's stealing my present. Something that you've got to allow it, you've got to put it in the past. And forgiveness is the way you do that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so so we're talking about the kind of love that rebuilds you, not the kind of love that breaks you. That's that's what it sounds like. We need to be trying to get to after experiencing any type of domestic violence. You're looking for something that love that rebuilds you. And that starts with yourself first.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The work. Yep.
Absolutely.
go back to the comments. So Shan McClendon, I almost said, yes, be healed and whole before allowing relationships to begin. Actually, can I ask ask something regarding that? Like I
Mhm.
like I asked before, um, how do you know? I mean, I'm pretty sure this question has been asked before, but how do you know like when something like this happens? How do you know you're completely healed from that though? Like, because you can, I honestly feel like in certain situations you can feel like you're healed, like I'm moving past it, I'm good, and then I don't know, like it's like something switches.
That that's why if you have any doubt as to whether or not you are healed, you're not.
Hmm.
That's interesting, and I think I think that's true. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that means that you need help.
Need
You
help.
can't do it alone, and you need help.
Yeah.
That's very simple way to get the help that you need to do it, because again, these are like triggers. If
Mhm.
it's not fixed, it will ignite at the end of the most inappropriate time. And I'm
Mm.
going to tell you, you can't if you can't trace a trigger, you need to get some help. You need some
Yeah.
additional help.
Mm.
If you can't trace a trigger, then you need to get some help. And that's really the basis of it, is because again, there's going to be triggers, there's going to be, but you don't know where it comes from.
Right.
And that's the problem, is that we don't know where they come from. And if the trauma that you felt, or the domestic trauma, being specific, if it was it was because of the domestic problem, you've got to be able to trace it.
Mhm.
And then you'll be able to say, okay, this is where that trigger comes from. Because again, once you're in a relationship, the person that you're now in a relationship has no idea
Right.
where that trigger
That's
leads to or
Mm.
came from. I just was late to dinner, and I just get blown up. And I'm
mm.
like, but I don't know, the fact is that when late to dinner came a lot of other stuff in your life.
Mm.
Yeah. Like
Mm.
abandonment, fear of abandonment,
Yeah, you
and
know. And I'm like, hey, it was emergency on the the beltway, man. Hey, there was emergency traffic
and
accident.
that
I couldn't
beltway stay jam packed.
hey, I'm late.
Yeah.
Again, it's those type of things, and we arguing over this.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. People, contrary to, what one may have experienced through domestic violence, it just sounds like they, instead of being ready to find love, like the focus for, domestic violence survivors should be ready to, ready to find your peace. And I guess until you find your own peace, you're really just not ready to, you know, be love or to even give love.
Well, understand the love that I'm referring to. See, this love that I'm talking about is a love that allows you to be able to be fulfilled. You are full inside of yourself. Once
Mm-hmm.
you're full inside of yourself, then you have something, this love, to give.
Mm-hmm.
See, when we're talking about wanting to receive love, you've got to be willing to and be able to give it to receive it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because if you can't recognize truly what it looks like
Mm-hmm.
until you can give it.
Mm-hmm.
Because anything before that, it's just a feeling. It's just an emotion.
Yeah.
It's just something that makes you feel good. It's a warm fuzzy.
Avoid. My
Yeah.
mom says, you're here when the things that hurt you no longer hurt you. I don't cry about things anymore. I can talk about situations without talking about the person who wounded me.
Yeah, those are signs. Those are good signs. Those are absolutely good signs. Um, you're the only one that's going to be able to answer those as the individual who's gone through that. And that's why I'm saying when you have if you have any doubt, you need to get some help. But if you can say you can do those things, the only challenge in that is that no relationships are the same. No two are the same.
That's true. That's true.
And so it's really not about the other person or the things that are coming at you to determine whether or not you're healed or not. It's whether or not you have taken the position to say, I have put this behind me. In other words, if I was to say, let's think about it. If there was something about this event or this trauma, this domestic issue that happened that it's like a spark. It sparks something else. And until that else happens, you don't know what that else is until it happens.
Right.
So the idea here is to put that event or that thing, you've got to get past it. You've got to take it out of the equation so that it can't be lit. And that's the work. That's the work. You got to be able to say, okay, I'm going to put this particular situation behind me. I know that it's not easy because no trauma, no issues like that are easy to be able to do that. But understand the idea here is to be able to put it behind you. That's a mind. That's the ability to be able to do that is the work. But understand that is where the cure is, if there is one, is to put it behind you because you don't know what arrows are going to be shooting at you.
Right.
You don't know what arrows are coming. So the best thing to do is, okay, this situation is not necessary. This no longer is a part of my identity. I am no longer a victim. I'm a victor. I'm a victor. And
I
that
really
makes
like that.
that's a mindset now that I move forward. I possess it and I move forward in it. See, so that's what this love really does. It really gives me back the ability now to be able to navigate this thing in a manner that those things might not, they were of my past, but they're not of my present. And because I'm now not allowing anything, no matter, because I can't control who's going to be shooting arrows at me. You know, and only you know what arrows are going to light that fuse. So the best thing we can do is to just remove that fuse, get it out of play. Yeah, that was a part of who I used to be, but that ain't who I am. For those that are Christians, have the understanding that I'm a new creature. This is the concept. I'm a new creature. The old things are put behind me. I'm a new creature. I'm now going to walk in my newness, not possessing or maintaining the things that I did in the past. I have the ability to set aside the past to protect, to possess my current future, my current and future, my present.
My mom said, "Take your power back."
Yeah.
Hello.
Mr. Juan,
Mhm.
so, what message do you have, for our viewers who may be victims of domestic violence and, they're trying to, do everything, within their power to heal. They feel they're there. However, there's just this sense of fear that, just comes with trying to open themselves up to love again, the fear of choosing wrong again, the fear of not being able to, see the signs that maybe love just isn't safe, and for some, despite therapy, treatment, that may be something that lingers on and follows them, throughout the rest of, their lives. So, what message do you have for them, in terms of being able to love again?
Again, I mean, we can't, again, unless we fully understand that the love that I'm referring to is not again, it's redefining.
Hmm.
It's redefining.
Redefining it because they didn't
Redef-
love the first
redefine.
time.
We
Okay.
redefining it.
Makes sense.
Okay, it's a perspective change. It's a change. It's a change in perspective. That's the transformation that we're talking about that love does. It really changes your perspective on things, and it's that which we're talking about. When you get that change, that transformation of what love is, what it looks like, there's no new, there's no, when we are currently in a situation, we have to choose, make a decision to whether or not we're going to stay in it, sit in it, or are we going to move beyond it. Your
Mm-hmm.
mom said it. You've got to take your power back, because
Mm-hmm.
that's in essence what's been done. They've taken your value. They've taken. You've got to take it back, and it's not. And again, like I'm saying, this work isn't easy. And if you need help doing it, get the help.
Mm-hmm.
Don't allow it to linger, because it doesn't get any easier, especially if you don't redefine love.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't redefine it, when you associate relationships, intimacy, relationships with this type of violence, it's not love.
It's not love.
It's not. And that's a critical point that we've got to be able to make that differentiation in moving forward. If we don't make that differentiation, the potential still sits there. It's like that again. That fuse is still there.
Yeah. It's not love, but you know, I think we well, not, it's not love. I know it's not love, but I guess for someone who's experienced domestic violence, their idea of love and what love is and what it should be is probably already complicated, and perhaps they've never, experienced love. And so, I don't know how they discover then from that point, how do they discover what love is then? I don't know if that's taught for them in therapy. Does therapy even focus on, after domestic violence, does therapy, even focus on love rather than, focusing on the trauma that they've experienced? So
Well,
where resources, where do they seek? Because I feel like that's just a whole nother lesson. You get what I'm saying? That's a whole nother um life lesson that a lot of people just haven't learned yet, and perhaps they may never learn that. Where's that resource? Because we don't hear that enough. We don't get that enough. Mr. One, love made simple. Okay.
hold on. Okay. So, what resources, practices, or community supports do you recommend for survivors
Okay.
I, I,
who
I,
are moving into dating relationship scene again?
Well, again, this is not specifically in the dating area, but this is about love. This is love
Yeah.
made simple. When you understand, and what I'm saying, you're absolutely, when you go to get your therapy, you go to therapy, they're not going to be focusing on love. They're going to be focusing on what your issue is, your
Right.
problem, your situation. Okay. What love does is allows you to see, and what it will do is, even in your process of going through that therapy, it will allow you to see it in a way that will allow you to get past the event.
Hmm.
Okay. That's what therapy will do, would allow you to get past the event. Okay. Love will allow you to move forward. Love made simple. Love will allow you to move forward. Okay. It can't, it, until you understand to look, because what it's basically doing is causing you to reposition your thoughts as it relates to that event. That's what therapy is going to do.
Mhm.
It's going to help you through that process. Now, how do you move forward from that? Is to be able to maintain the fact that you want to continually align yourself with this new concept, this new idea as to what love is. That's where you want to really begin to identify moving forward. And you'll know at that point, well, okay, now that I've addressed this, I've put this behind me, now I know how to move forward and to identify what's in my best interest, what's in line with what is right for me. See, we begin to see, like I said earlier, when you're able to see a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know that ain't for you.
Mhm.
You know, every sheep that, you know, a wolf, and every sheep that ain't necessarily a sheep, in the sense that it is fake. It ain't for you. That's not for you. Like I said, I can't stress this enough. This is more about knowing what's not for you. If you know what's not for you, you have a chance at learning for what is for you.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
So
if
I am,
you,
go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I'm therapy is something that is important so that you can get to know yourself better. Okay. And again, this is
I
not
like
touting it. All I'm saying is that if you recognize that there's a need, if things aren't working right, here's the thing. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know something need to be changed. Something need to change. You know, that's Maya Angelou. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, something need to be changed. Something need to change.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's like that's a sign. And then be willing to get the help you need to address whatever the situation is. Look, continuing to repeat the same thing over and over again is not doing you any good.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And if you could give one message of hope to someone listening who is afraid that they'll never be able to fully love or be loved after trauma, what would you say to them?
Um, in the context of what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say this, that when you know who you are, when you know who you are, when you accept who you are and develop that which you have accepted, then you'll have that which you'll win. Understand, when you know that you know who you are, there is there's no easy answer to that question, because there is no, yeah, you deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm no, I'm not going to say
Appreciate.
that. I'm not going to say you deserve it. You deserve it when you do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When you do the work, and everybody's work is different. What's right for them or him or her ain't right for you. That's why I'm stressing this so much, is that you've got to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you're not looking for anybody. You're looking for that which adds value to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the total difference. Then you're not just anybody going to be giving you anything and accepting and thinking you're going to take it. No, I'm looking for what's right for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know trauma has no longer holding you back, not dictating to you your future. That's doing the work. I know many people don't want to hear that, but there is no quick fix to trauma. There's no quick fix to doing it desiring. But what I will say this is any relationship that anyone's in, define what the purpose of it is.
Mm-hmm.
Define the purpose, because the conversation is going to be based on the purpose. And the conversation is going to dictate how and where the relationship is going.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Juan, for joining us again for another Sunday.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm hoping y'all have me back after this one, because I'm telling you, there's no quick fix. But I understand the desire. I understand the desire. But really, it's about an adjustment in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And really, again, like I said, if you just said domestic violence, but you said love after domestic violence, okay, that means that let's separate the two first, and then go back. And love is the word relationship in this case. It's love means relationship. And when I say love, I'm talking about being able to demonstrate care and concern for another.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what the relationship is about, is the work.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Ever since you've come on the Sundays you do, and you speak, I have took a major nugget, especially like with me dating. Everybody's view on love is different. Everybody has a different perspective of love. Your perspective might not be the same as even as your partner's perspective. So even having the consideration of what it looks like to them and what it looks like to you, that's where the communication should be, applied, because it's a different lens for everybody. And I had to look at it like that, especially with dating, because I can't make anybody see how I want to be loved or what love looks like to me.
Yeah. Again, that's when you put purpose and really define what it is that you're doing, what you're attempting to accomplish with the relationship. And all relationships, like I said, have purpose. They should have purpose. And it's that purpose that will begin to drive the conversation. And you'll begin to talk, and you'll hear them say what their intentions are. They will express their purpose,
Mm-hmm.
one way or another, through frustration or through arguments or disagreements. And it's basically because you have two different purposes. I'm thinking that one thing, and they're thinking something different.
Yeah.
Have the hard conversations.
Thank you. But difficult, very difficult. But thank you again. This wraps up. I hope you guys have gotten many different nuggets from Mr. Juan again. He will be back, and we will have another topic for him.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Next Sunday, my mom will be back. She is traveling. If you guys can see, she was in the comments, still commenting, still being nosy to see what's going on. But she will be back next Sunday. Thank you, Miss Tequila, for
Of course.
joining me for our last October show. This is our last October show, right?
Yep. Halloween is Friday.
Because next,
Okay.
next Sunday is we're into the month of November.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I hope everybody enjoyed this month for our anniversary. 2 years. We're about to be going on 3. So thank you guys again for watching today and engaging with us. Again, my mom will be back next Sunday. And Mr. Keela, if you have anything you want to say?
Just, in closing, just a little something to the domestic violence survivors. We do understand that, through domestic violence, you will see love differently, as well as we all, Jada mentioned we all do. But, it's important to realize that love is not meant to, complete you at all. It's meant to complement the healed version of you. And so,
Yes.
we wish you all well, and thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Juan. It's always great to have you on back. Jada.
Look me up if you need to help somebody know about love. The perspective, helping them change their perspective on the situation. I'm here for that.
Yeah, because we're trying to simplify love. It seems like and sounds like, just listening to myself, Jada, and even you, Mr. Juan, that even with us all experiencing life differently, having different versions and expectations of what love is, what love should be, I think that we could all, appreciate simplifying it, so definitely, would mind referring someone to you. Thank
The
you.
book is on it's on Amazon. It's an ebook. It's also an Audible. You can get it, listen to it, all of the above. It's the ability of being able to recognize that it's not meant to be difficult, and it's in all aspects. But when you change your perspective on things, it allows you to see it totally differently, and it means everything.
Okay. Awesome.
So for the closing of the anniversary, we are still doing giveaways for the people who have been engaging, been staying with us, been sharing, been adding people. We are gonna go through. Actually, me and my mom are gonna go through the people who have been inviting people into like the group and tagging. But I'm gonna do a giveaway today.
Okay.
I'm gonna just give it, and actually, I'm gonna give it to somebody who I've been seeing every Sunday in our audience, and we're gonna give away a Stanley Cup, 1 cup. I think my mom said 1 cup, and then we're gonna give away the others to the other gifts and giveaways to the people who have been actively engaging all month for our anniversary. So the cup I want to give away to Miss Diresha, because I've seen her actively engaging for the past few Sundays from start to finish of the show. So, Miss Diresha, please send me your information so we can send you a cup. Mr. Juan, I want to send you something as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And you know what? I'm feeling kind too. I want to give away a book. I want to give away a book.
Okay.
To anyone. Here's the thing. How many people we got on tonight?
I think the most we had on was 10, but we have on 6 right now.
That means they stayed the whole time, right?
Yes.
Wow.
How you
Are
want to
they?
do it?
Mm, um, how many of them are local? How
Local
many of them
as
are
in
local?
DMV?
Yeah,
That's kind of hard because this is virtual and
yeah, I
most of
know.
our
Um, here's the thing. Anybody who texts me or sends me, gets in contact with me, I will give them a book. I will
okay. And
send
how
them a
can they
book.
contact you and get in contact with
Just contact me at clearjourney at info@clearjourney.org
you? Let me put that
and say Chick Chat.
info@clearjourney.org.
Info@clearjourney.org and say Chick Chat and say I want the book.
The
And
book.
Okay.
I will send you a copy of the book.
I see a couple people in the comments already. They're eager to get that book. Nubian Magnolia Thompson wants that book. Jesse Sutton wants the book, I can tell. So you all see the information that Jada has shared. Make sure you reach out to Mr. Juan and say, Chick Chat, I want that book. I want the book.
I want the book. I will send you. Now you got to give me your address and stuff in there, so I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Or here's the thing. I can send you an e-copy. I can send you an e-copy, or you can have a hard copy. Probably the e-copy is. I would love to send you the e-copy. I'll send you the e-copy.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, that wraps up our show, you guys. I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and we will be back next Sunday.
See you later.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.